and at Fleet Feet Lincoln, they help find the shoes and inserts you need with their Fit ID machine, which takes a 3D image of your feet. If you're having trouble finding the right fit, visit Fleet Feet Lincoln at 77 in Pioneers.
The best way to learn about Southeast Community College is to visit. SCC's Career Days will provide you with a hands-on experience as you learn alongside SCC faculty and students and industry partners. Explore careers in healthcare, construction, ag, automotive, manufacturing, engineering, power sports, transportation, or technology. See your options at southeast.edu/visit SCC. SCC, your path to possible.
At first, I was really nervous and intimidated to buy a ring. I wasn't sure what I was getting into.
My experience at Starter Heyman was very easy. I felt like I walked out of Starter Heyman with the ring that was going to make her go wow and say yes.
I love my ring. It is so beautiful.
I absolutely love my ring. I get compliments on it all the time. I always tell them Starter Heyman.
Yeah, we would definitely recommend Starter Heyman.
Yeah, it was great.
We're definitely coming back.
Sure.
Sauter Heyman Jewelers, Lincoln and Grand Island. SauterHeyman.com.
Wall to Wall Wine and Spirits is now open in Lincoln. Shop our expansive collection of wine, beer, spirits, and cigars at 5040 North 27th Street. From top shelf liquor to crowd favorite beer, Wall to Wall Wine and Spirits has a beverage for every taste and every budget. Plus, join our loyalty program to earn rewards and save on future purchases. Shop Wall to Wall Wine and Spirits at 5040 North 27th Street in Lincoln. That's 5040 North 27th Street.
Join Planet Fitness now and get the PF Black Card for only $24.99 a month. You'll enjoy an upgraded experience with tons of perks.
Like access to more than 2,000 locations worldwide?
Yep.
And massage chairs?
Yes.
Can I bring a friend every time?
Sure.
Can my friend be a horse?
Nay. Sorry. Get the PF Black Card and feel fit-tacular. Only $24.99 a month. Our most popular membership, the PF Black Card, is your ticket to getting all the perks. Join today. See Club for details.
At Parkview Animal Hospital in Lincoln, it's not just the professional care that sets them apart, but their warm staff and state-of-the-art facilities. Whether it's for a routine checkup or a comprehensive medical procedure, at Parkview, your pet isn't just another number, but a valued member of their caring family. Visit them at pahlincoln.com today and in person just south of 14th and Pine Lake Road. Parkview Animal Hospital, your pet, our passion. For happier, healthier furry friends.
Get all of your favorite restaurants delivered with VenueDelivered.com. One place for ordering delicious appetizers, refreshing salads, hot entrees, fresh sandwiches, and more. From Venue Restaurant and Lounge, Piedmont Bistro, and all Lincoln Good Sense Subs locations. Download our phone app to earn rewards on all of your carryout and delivery orders. Available on Apple and Android, just search for the Pillar Restaurants app. That's the Pillar Restaurants app. Download today.
This is Adam Carriker on the ticket.
Position right of the quarterback, out of the shotgun, 1st and 20. Jailbreak screen in the air. It is tipped. It is intercepted by Carriker at the Missouri 21-yard line.
Live from the heart of Lincoln, America, 8-year NFL vet and All-American defensive lineman Adam Carriker.
Shotgun snap to Everett. He's got the left arm going, and now he's got a whole lot of Adam Carriker who rips him down inside the 25-yard line.
On 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com. Here's your host, Adam Carriker.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to another Victory Monday edition of Adam Carriker on The Ticket here on 93.7 The Ticket. We got a lot to talk about, to chat about today. We're going to look back, Louisiana Tech. We're going to do some grades, dissect some stats. Then we're going to look ahead to Michigan. Good old Michigan Wolverines going to roll into Lincoln this Saturday. I'm sure it's going to be a fun atmosphere, a fun game to be at. And we're going to look ahead to Michigan, what they've done well. They're Michigan, and they're number 2 in the country. And they were preseason number 2. And they haven't budged, just like Georgia. And it's going to be hard to budge them when they're coming off back-to-back Big Ten championships and beating up on Ohio State 2 years in a row and making the CFP a couple years in a row. Both those teams. Honestly, Georgia has not been overly impressive so far this year, but when you win back-to-back national titles, it's going to take a lot to bump you off. Michigan hasn't been overly impressive. Now, if you've watched their games, and I've used this term several times this year on the Big Ten show when I'm talking about Michigan, they play bully ball. All right, they're just going to hit you in the mouth over and over. They're going to play great defense. They're going to be sound. They're not going to beat themselves. They're going to run the ball, run the ball, run the ball. J.J. McCarthy doesn't have eye-popping stats. You know, he's averaging just barely over 20 passes a game. They're going to run the ball. He's going to do his thing. He'll make plays with his feet when necessary. And they're a very, very good football team. You know, whether they're the second best team in the country, nobody knows. There's legit 10 really good teams in the country right now. I mean, you've got teams like Penn State and Baylor and Florida State, obviously Ohio State, Michigan, Georgia, several of these Pac-12 teams. All right, Washington looks really good. Oregon looks really good. By the way, if anybody was, I was surprised, but not shocked or flabbergasted by what happened to Colorado. When I put out on social media, hey, Colorado's a 21-point underdog. What are your thoughts? I put it out because I was surprised. I was like, well, I didn't think they'd be 21-point underdogs. But what was it, 42-7 or something like that? Like, Colorado has athletes, a great quarterback, holes in the trenches, holes in the run game, and holes on defense. Prime has done a great job his first year there already. Okay, and they got a brutal schedule going down the slate in that Pac-12 conference. But I kind of went off on a random sidebar here, but my point is Oregon's a very good football team. I was surprised but not shocked by what I saw Saturday. There's so many good teams this year. I don't think, you know, you look at 2019 LSU. They were really good, all-time good. 2020 Alabama the next year? I believe that they are in the conversation as an all-time great team. You know, there's some people who want to point to Georgia last year. I don't know about that, but, you know, the TCU game, I think, kind of skewed it when they just trounced an overmatched TCU team. Okay, I would have been much more excited to see how it would have gone had they played Michigan in that national title game, but obviously Michigan didn't win the game. The best team doesn't always win. But this year's a little different. There's nobody who's just standing out like, oh, Florida State's another really good team. But that's just like, oh, this dominant team, or they're clearly got way more talent or head and shoulders above everybody. No, there's about 10 really good teams right now. And it's interesting. It's more entertaining to me, honestly. Penn State, I think I mentioned them earlier. You know, I said before the season, I thought they were better than Ohio State. Right now, they look more impressive than Michigan. But at the same time, if you're Michigan, okay, you haven't really played anybody exciting, you know, so it's hard to be overly impressive unless you're just winning 60-3 or something like that. But their strength of schedule isn't phenomenal so far. They haven't had to be impressive, and they haven't been overly exciting. But we all know they're one of the top 5 teams in the country. Maybe they are the second best team in the country. Maybe they're the best team in the country. Don't know. We know they're a really good football team. But we're going to look ahead to Michigan a little bit as well. But first, all right, I want you just remember, all right, GE Landscape and Supply. Okay, they have pavers, builders, great access for any backyard landscaping project. They sell to homeowners and contractors, and they deliver anywhere near or far. Stop by at 6701 Cornerstone Highway. Check out gelandscapesupply.com or call 402-467-1627. Okay, a lot of times people drive right by and they don't even realize they're going right by GE Landscape and Supply. So stop in and check them out. They do a phenomenal job, okay? Also, check out everything they're doing here on the ticket, doing a great job here on the ticket. Also, check out CarrikerChronicles.com when you get the opportunity. I like to say all your football hopes and dreams will come true when you do so. But let's talk about Nebraska, La Tech just a little bit. Let's look back before we look ahead. I want to do some grades. You know, I haven't done these every week. I don't do it every single week, but I'm going to do it this week. And I'm going to do some specific things, and a couple things revolving the offensive line. We're going to do a run game grade. We're going to do a passing grade. Okay, an overall offensive line grade, an overall offensive grade. Then we'll do defense and special teams as well. You look at the run game. The offensive line, there's holes. And as the game goes along, the holes get bigger. It's kind of what you were used to if you grew up with old school Nebraska football. I think it's what some Nebraska fans, including myself, admittedly yearn for a little bit more of. We're getting back to it. We got an identity that we're going to run the ball. And we're going to keep running. We're going to keep pounding. And we're going to do it for four full quarters. And can you stop a 2-3 yard run in the first half from being a 7, 8, 9 to 72 yard option run with our quarterback in the second half? That's the question, and that's who we are, and that's what we do. It's not overly entertaining at times, but it is methodical, it is physical, and it is our identity, and it is consistent, I might add as well. So you look at the run game. I'm going to give the offensive line, it's hard when it's your third straight game with more than 200 yards rushing. That's pretty good. Okay. And admittedly, in those games are La Tech, Northern Illinois, and Colorado, who isn't the stoutest defense on planet Earth. Okay. But we were also able to move the ball in the second half versus a very good Minnesota team. I know the turnovers, yada, yada. Okay. But just as far as being able to run the ball, rush the ball, do it consistently, get stronger as the game goes along, we have consistently been able to move the ball throughout the season and be stronger in the second half, and that starts up front. The offensive line is getting better. You can see them getting better every week in the run blocking game. Okay, we'll get to the pass blocking here in a second. But I would give them a B+. I wouldn't give them an A because this isn't a great Louisiana Tech defense. They were giving up 5 yards a carry defensively. I actually was hoping that we'd have bigger holes earlier in the game. Okay, more consistent holes throughout the entirety of the game. But I did feel the offensive line performed pretty well. You can see that they're getting better and they get stronger as the game goes along. Okay, so I gave them a B+, but that's why it was not an A. Is in the run game. You look at the pass game. Oh man, we don't even pass that much. Okay, we've actually had more passing attempts with Heinrich Harburg than we did under Jeff Sims. Harburg has more carries rushing with the ball than Sims did. He has more pass attempts than Sims did. All right, Sims played the first 2 games, obviously got banged up, didn't finish the second game, but Harburg has started 2 games as well. And so maybe that's a sign that they trust Harburg a little bit more. Maybe that's more based on the opponent. I don't know exactly for sure. Okay, but when it comes to the pass game, we got to protect our quarterback better. It's just that simple. If you watch Louisiana Tech on Saturday, they were blitzing, and they were blitzing a lot, and they were gambling, and they were willing to take that risk and say that we're going to get to your quarterback. And there's different styles of blitzes. There's blitzes that are more run blitzes, okay? And there's blitzes that are more pass-type blitzes. And basically the biggest difference is, from a defensive perspective, a pass blitz, if you don't get there, there might be more holes open for the quarterback to take off and run. Okay, because it's a little bit more of a risk, a gamble. Whereas in a run blitz, you're trying to take up all the gaps and you're trying to take everything away. It's more of a run style blitz where there's the pass blitz, there's going to be more holes, so to speak, if you don't get home at the quarterback. That's kind of the difference between the two in the defensive philosophy when you hear run blitz versus pass blitz. We got to get better at protecting the quarterback. We got to get better on the left side. I know Prohaska can play because I know he was in at tight end, a week ago versus Northern Illinois. So I'm curious, Corcoran's just struggling at left tackle. He just has been. And so I'm curious, is there a rotation? Do some other guys start to get some more looks there? How does this work? Because as the season goes along, you got to get more and better pass protection out of your offensive line, particularly on that left side. And in fact, the touchdown pass to Fedoni later on in the game, Louisiana Tech brought a blitz and we picked it up. And then they hit Fedoni for what looked like an easy touchdown, because when the defense is blitzing everybody, they don't have as many people back. It's just simple math. You don't have as many people in coverage. You catch the ball, it's much easier to make a big play. On ones, I like that with Thomas Fedoni, a big athletic individual who can make plays, starting to come into his own. Obviously, there's a connection there with him and Heinrich Harburg, his former roommate. So, long-winded way of saying pass protection, got to get better. I think La Tech had 3 sacks. The Black Shirts actually had 0 on Saturday, which surprised me, especially as much as Louisiana Tech likes to pass and as much pressure as we've been able to get. I think they're trying to get better. The Black Shirts are getting to the quarterback without having to blitz as much. Okay, and when we're not blitzing, we're not getting there as much. So that's something the Rule pointed out in his presser a week ago, and it's something they have to continue to get better at on the defensive side of the ball. Anyways, pass game. All right, I gave him a D as far as pass protection up front on the offensive line. Now, the offensive line is an overall whole. It was tough. I went with a B- just because as the game went along, they played better, and that's always a great sign. So I gave him a B-, the offensive line as a whole. You look at the defense before the weather delay. That was so weird for me. I did not go to this game. I watched it on TV. It looked like everything was rolling just fine, and then bam, here's a delay, and I'm like, oh, well, that's kind of out of nowhere. Okay, not a la Akron, 4 or 5 years ago. I think 2017, I think that was. I could be wrong on that exact year, but that was an obvious weather delay that night. But the defense played pretty well. You'd like to get more pressure on the quarterback consistently. They did give up some pass yards, more than you would have liked in this game. All right, you look at what Louisiana Tech was able to do in the pass game. They threw for just under 300 yards, 292 yards. So I thought the defense played pretty well. We actually have the number one rush defense in the country. Hard to complain about that. Okay. And I'd seen a couple places where James Madison was ahead of us, but then I would look at other spots and James Madison was nowhere to be found. So that was a little confusing to me. My producer, Rico, who's incredibly smart, all right, said, hey, no, Adam, we got the number one rush defense in the country. So the Black Shirts are doing a lot of good things. Just got to get to the quarterback without having to blitz all the time. We've got to show up some things on the back end of that pass defense. Okay. So I gave the Black Shirts, I gave the defense a straight up B. Okay. The touchdown right after the weather delay looked a little too easy, although it does disrupt the flow of the game. All right, special teams, I gave a B as well. You look at, we kind of got lucky with that 93-yard kickoff return they had for a touchdown. The penalty was called back. Obviously, we had 2 long touchdown runs of our own that were called back. I believe one was Heinrich Harburg's, and I believe the other was Anthony Grant's. So it goes both ways. I understand that. But you could just see there hadn't been much leakage, if at all, this year on special teams. You could just see a little bit. Okay, when you look at our punt return game, it's still not quite what you'd hope for. It's still not great. In the punt return game, I'm looking up the stats now. All right, punt return, we had 1 punt return for 8 yards. I think they've got Billy Kemp back there because he's obviously a good football player. I don't know that he's an over-the-top speed demon or anything like that. But we haven't had much in our punt return game this year. I think he's a guy they trust to catch the ball and make good decisions with it when his heels are at the 10-yard line. Do I catch it? Do I let it go? Because then you don't want to get pinned inside your own 5-yard line. So we got to get more out of our punt return game. And then the young freshman, Tristan Alvano, he's a young guy, ridiculously talented. He's going to be an all-time great by the time he's done, but I believe he's 1 for 3 on the season so far, missed one on Saturday as well. So I gave the special teams a B. Overall, I gave a C plus. I gave a C plus is what I decided to go with. We get stronger as the game goes along. We're clearly more physical. I felt like there was a little bit more leakage in the pass game and the defense. I was hoping the holes would be a little bit bigger on the offensive side as far as the run game earlier on in the game. And just a couple things here with the special teams. Obviously, we are who we are. We're not fancy. We're not flashy. We're going to hit you in the mouth. We're going to run the ball, rush for over 300 yards in this game. Heinrich Harburg took care of the ball. A couple of fumbles in this game by the Huskers. We got them all back. But I thought it was a good game, but I think there was things I was hoping to see that would be better than what I saw. I don't think that they were just awful, but I was hoping it would be better than what I saw, and there's things we need to get cleaned up, and there's things we're clearly getting better at too, okay? So when you look at a couple of the notes that I made from the game, and when we come back from the break, and we go to break here in about 8 or 9 minutes, any thoughts from Matt Rule's pressure that's going on right now? I will share any reactions or thoughts to those. Also, we're going to look at Michigan just a little bit. All right, so you look at Anthony Grant. He had some pretty good numbers. This is a guy that we know he's talented. We know what he can do. Okay, towards the tail end of last year, he fell off just a smidgen, but I think that was kind of a whole team-related type deal, more so than just him. Then you heard about the fumbling issues in camp. Then you have the fumble in game 1. But here's what we know. He didn't fumble once Saturday. Okay, knock on wood. All right. Okay, and as long as he takes care of the ball, he's as dynamic a back as there is in the Big Ten West and the Big Ten as a whole. Okay, so when you look at Grant's numbers, 22 carries, 135 yards, averaged 6.1 yards per carry, had a long run of 34 yards and 1 TD. And there was a couple of clutch 3rd and short runs, 4th and short runs that the offensive line blocked well, and he ran hard and he got it. All right, so Harburg took care of the ball, rushes for over 100 yards. You look at his stats specifically, 8 of 17 passing, 107 yards through the air, 6.3 yards per pass, 1 touchdown. Okay, rushing is where he really did his damage. You'd like to see a higher completion percentage, okay, because that's under 50% for the game. He's at 51% for the year. You'd like to see a higher completion percentage than that, but when it comes to running the ball, rushed it 19 times, 157 yards, 8.3 yards per rush, had the long touchdown rush of 72, had another long touchdown rush called back. And I know they called holding, and I know the announcers, They were busy talking about linemen's bellies during the game, which was really weird. My wife even walked into the room at one point. She goes, is that not really weird? They're talking about bellies. And I was like, yeah, it's kind of awkward. So I maybe mentioned it on social media, like, what are we doing here, guys? But so when the wide receivers are blocking, it's tough. It's tough to get wide receivers to buy into doing that, first of all. Okay, because they want to run routes, they want to catch. We've got wide receivers, if you watch them, they're committed to blocking. They're putting in the effort to blocking, and they're knocking people backwards. The two holding calls, okay, I believe they were both on wide receivers. On Anthony Grant's long touchdown run, Heinrich Harburg's long touchdown run, they were both called back. Here's what I saw, and if I were to coach them, here's what I would tell them. They had their hands inside, and they were knocking the defenders back. What happens when a defender gets knocked back, he leans back. And then if you've got a hold of that breastplate, okay, inside hand placement, thumbs up. You want your thumbs up, not elbows out, elbows in, thumbs up. As they're getting knocked back and they're falling back, and you've got to hold that breastplate, there's going to be a pull on the jersey. It's just naturally going to happen whether you're holding or not. So it's going to look like holding. What I saw was the Louisiana Tech's defenders, in both of these examples, their momentum was going backwards because they were getting knocked backwards. And they were trying to come off and make the play, a little bit of both, okay? And so there was pullage of the jersey. What I saw was our wide receivers' feet, when they were blocking at that point in time, were not still moving as fast as they should have. When you're knocking a guy backwards and he's starting to fall backwards and that jersey starts to show that it's getting pulled, or he's trying to come off your block to make the tackle and that jersey gets pulled, run your feet. The instant you run your feet, you're going to bury him and that jersey is no longer getting pulled. When he's pulling away, whether because he's getting knocked backwards or he's trying to come off and make a tackle, and your feet aren't moving fast enough or equivalent to the speed that he's pulling away, there's going to be jersey pullage. It's going to look like a hold. But if you accelerate your feet even more at that point than you already have, not only will there not be a holding call, you're going to destroy him into the ground. So that's what I saw in those two holding calls right there. Okay, let's see. Fedoni. Now, he only had one catch this game. I would like to see more because teams are going to start selling out with run blitzes. I mean, I've already said what I would do as a D coordinator. I mean, the Huskers are who they are. I love the identity. I love the physicality. I love the fact that we get stronger as the game goes along. We don't really have a deep threat, okay? And we don't really stretch the field vertically. So I wouldn't put 8 in the box. I'd put 9 in the box. I'd go 0 coverage. Maybe put one guy deep in the middle, cover one, man across, one safety deep in the middle. But I'd be bringing guys. So what's going to happen if you're the Huskers? You've got to at least just throw the ball deep every once in a while. Throw it to the outside. Don't throw it to the middle. You throw it to the middle. It's much more likely to get picked off if it's not completed. Throw it outside, over the outside shoulder towards the sideline. So either your guy catches it, okay, or it goes out of bounds. Or you get a PI call. Just don't put it inside, the inside shoulder, or anywhere towards the middle of the field because we're not great at this. You're simply just trying to take a shot and keep the defense honest, okay? That's one way to try to negate some of those blitzes. Show them that you'll at least make an attempt to go deep, okay? The other is screens. Screens are the things that keep defensive coordinators up at night. When you're facing a team, so the best screen team I ever played in my life, there was 2. Texas Tech with Mike Leach, okay? Because obviously everybody's trying to bring the blitz. He had his linemen. Their splits were huge. There was legit 2 to 3 yards in between their linemen splits, which you would have thought would have been awesome for a D lineman. It turned out to be nauseatingly frustrating, and I'll say that for another day because that's a diatribe for another day. But then everyone knew that they weren't going to run, but maybe 8-9 times a game. So people try to do all these blitzes, but he had the best screen game you'd ever seen in college football. In the NFL, it was the Philadelphia Eagles. It was the Eagles. They were great at the screen game. Every time we played them, it was challenging. Plus, when I played them, they had Michael Vick. So that was a whole nother animal you were dealing with right there because that dude could do something with his legs, his arms. You never knew what was going to happen. So my point is this: incorporate more screens to keep the opposing defenses a little bit off balance and keep them honest. I'm the guy that's going to always ask for more option. And based on what I've seen so far this year, when I spoke with Tommy Frazier, he's like, that's just what Husker fans want. It may not be best. And I agreed with him at the time, but in the back of my mind, I'm like, I still think it's best. But let's see. It's obviously one of our best plays. We can run it out of the spread. We can put a guy in motion, use him as the pitch man. I know Frost used to do that. Then you can have pass plays off of that. We got the I formation, ran the option on Saturday. I think it was one of our best plays every time we ran it. There's so many different ways to run the option, okay? And then you can do fake options, which we used to do all the time here at Nebraska. A la, think back to Johnny Mitchell, okay? The fake option, tight end seam down the middle. Think back, Matt Harrion, okay? Him and Jamal Lord. We didn't do a whole lot of passing when Jamal was the quarterback. He was a great runner, but the one major threat we had was the fake option. Jamal pulls up, hits Harrion down the seam, okay? If we could do more things like that, because we've got guys like Fedoni who can do those things, I think this this offense can start to expand, remain with the great identity, remain with the consistency, but put a little bit more of a deep threat and a way to keep the defenses honest going forward. Don't go anywhere, or I'll react to Matt Rule's presser. Look ahead to Michigan.
What would you tell a friend who was on the fence about going to Limitless Mail?
I would tell them to go to Limitless today. Don't hesitate. You're going to second guess yourself on if it's the right decision. The staff there is amazing. The treatments work. I'm living proof that it can completely change your life for the better.
Join thousands of men who have changed their lives with testosterone treatment. Slow down the aging process and live life. Schedule your free consult at limitlessmail.com.
Are you working in or looking to get into the electrical construction industry? The electrical workers of Local Union 265 are now hiring licensed journeymen and apprentices and are offering great pay and benefits. Call Mike at 402-875-1034 to apply. Start your electrical career today.
Join Planet Fitness now and get the PF Black Card for only $24.99 a month. You'll enjoy an upgraded experience with tons of perks.
Like access to more than 2,000 locations worldwide?
Yep.
And massage chairs?
Yes.
Can I bring a friend every time?
Sure.
Can my friend be a horse?
Nay. Sorry. Get the PF Black Card and feel fit-tacular. Only $24.99 a month. Our most popular membership, the PF Black Card, is your ticket to getting all the perks. Join today. See Club for details.
Tune in to the Teammates Mentoring Hour each Wednesday from 6 to 7 p.m. on 93.7 The Ticket. Hear stories from the program started by Tom and Nancy Osborne and how it's changed mentors and mentees' lives and how you can be involved. The Teammates Mentoring Hour, Wednesday nights from 6 to 7 o'clock on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
At Parkview Animal Hospital in Lincoln, it's not just a professional care that sets them apart, but their warm staff and state-of-the-art facilities. Whether it's for a routine checkup or a comprehensive medical procedure, at Parkview, your pet isn't just another number, but a valued member of their caring family. Visit them at pahlincoln.com today and in person just south of 14th and Pine Lake Road. Parkview Animal Hospital, your pet, our passion. For happier, healthier furry friends.
Gray Diesel and Equipment Services is hiring and seeking motivated applicants. Gray offers a second-to-none benefit package that includes health, dental, vision, 401k, paid vacation, and paid holidays. They offer great pay and tuition reimbursement or a tool purchase program for qualified candidates. It's a fun, friendly team with lots of variety and work assignments, so there's something for everybody. View and apply for their job openings today at grayusa.com or visit them in person just off I-80 and North 56th Street. Come be a part of the Gray difference.
If you have concerns about your drinking water, just call Bryant. If your water doesn't look right, smell right, or taste right, Bryant can help. If your water has high levels of iron, Bryant can help. If you're tired of foggy dishes and dingy clothes, Bryant can help. Whatever your home water needs are, Bryant is here with a solution to fit your needs. Be sure about your water. Just call 467-1111. Bryant Air Conditioning, Heating, Electrical, and Plumbing. We do whatever it takes.
Hey, it's Sean Callahan, and football season is here, and there is one place that has all the games, plus great food and beer specials. Tanner's Bar and Grill at 30th and Yankee Hill. Whether it's Thursday night football, college football Saturdays, NFL Sundays, or Monday night football, there's a great view of the game from any seat with different food and drink specials every night. Try the Blue Ribbon Reuben Sandwich or the Prime Rib French Dip or any of their famous chicken wings. That's Tanner's Bar and Grill at 30th and Yankee Hill.
If you or someone you know is having thoughts of suicide or experiencing a mental health or substance use crisis, Call 988 for free, confidential, and compassionate support. On July 16th, the National Suicide Prevention Lifeline is transitioning to 988. There is hope. For 24/7 support, call, text, or chat 988.
Sponsored by Nebraska DHHS, aired with the Nebraska Broadcasters Association and this station.
Rico here with HIS Auto Care at 70th and Van Dorn, letting you know HIS is a great place to bring your vehicle for service. With superior service, bumper to bumper, we'll treat your vehicle like it's your mother's. Doesn't get any better than that. So call 402-488-8934 and HIS Auto will make you glad you did. 5% off, mention this ad, and for sure your mother will be proud you called. 402-488-8934, HIS Auto Care, 70th and Van Dorn. God bless you.
Repeat after me. I will not touch the fuse box.
I will probably not touch the fuse box.
Sip, do you remember what happened last time?
Yeah, I remember.
What happened?
Half of the city block lost power.
And?
My chicken condo went haywire.
That's right. The chickens ran wild. So what do we do instead?
Call Joe at Ambition Electric and let him handle everything. Look, saved on speed dial.
Ambition Electric, 402-217-3415 or online at ambitionelectric.com. Brown Shoe Fit has all types of shoes for you to excel this fall. Check out their large variety of tennis shoes and dress shoes in brands like Brooks, Hoka, Merrell, On, and many more. Browns has the local professionals to get the proper fit, aided by their high-tech foot scanner by Aetrex. Stop by Brown Shoe Fit today, just south of 66th and Q in Lincoln, or check out their options online at brownshoefitco.com.
College football in Lincoln, America. The time has come. Start your game day off right with the A1 Automotive Ticket Tailgate pregame show. Join the ticket crew as they bring you all the coverage you need to get you ready for the action. It's the A1 Automotive Ticket Tailgate pregame show, powered by Sunbelt Rentals. Ben Bleicher with Professional Realty Group of BHHS Ambassador, Select Plumbing, Jimmy John's, Lincoln Wall to Wall Wine and Spirits, Fleet Feet, Bure's Cheese Spread on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com. You're listening to Adam Carriker on The Ticket on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, we're back to Adam Carriker on A Ticket, another Victory Monday. Don't take these for granted, ladies and gentlemen. All right, real quick, GE Landscape and Supply. Check them out at gelandscapesupply.com or call 402-467-1627. Also, shame on me. I've completely forgotten to mention the people segment, the last 10 minutes of this show. Send me your questions, your comments, your concerns, anything you'd like me to talk about. All right, send them the last 10 minutes of each and every show, Monday and Friday, where I'm live right here with you folks, interacting with you. All right, here on 93.7 The Ticket. Send me your questions, your comments, your concerns. 402 for that number. It's 402-464-5685. Again, the people segment questions, send them to call or text 402-464-5685. All right, so Matt Rule just finished his presser a few minutes ago. All right, so we're going to go through some notes here. Now, he said he hasn't decided yet. Shocker, you know. And I don't mean that in a good way or a bad way, just fully what I expected. Who's going to start a quarterback yet? He hasn't decided whether it's Harburg, whether it's Sims. And he said, and I quote, "For me to sit up here on Monday and say I don't know, this isn't gamesmanship," end quote. I don't think it's gamesmanship. I don't think our offense changes that much, whether it's Harburg or Sims. I don't think Michigan, I don't want to say they don't care, but they probably don't care because the offense doesn't change all that much. So I don't think it's gamesmanship. I think it's two things. I think Harburg, okay, so after the delay, Purdy finished the game, all right, and so Harburg had some tightness and whatnot, so it's probably how's Harburg feeling. You know, Rule even alluded to, I'm looking forward to seeing what these two guys can do in practice on Tuesday. So how is Harburg feeling? How healthy is he? Things of that nature. All right, how is Sims doing in his recovery, trying to get back on the field and be 100%? When he came into the game on Saturday, you could see he still had a little bit of a limp. Okay, it was there. Honestly, he was only in like for one play, maybe two, and it was a broken play. Either that or it was a great fake by the running back because he went one way and Sims went the other, and it looked like a broken play. So there's probably some rustiness there as well. I think what Matt Rule is doing, I think he's not burying Jeff Sims. I think 99% of Nebraska fans expect to see Heinrich Harburg as our starting quarterback on Saturday, barring any sort of, injury setback, knock on wood again. And I think what he's doing is unless Sims just outplays Harburg this week in practice, which is always a possibility. Okay, practice matters. Sorry, Allen Iverson. But my point is this. I think what he's really doing is he's protecting Sims. Okay, he's seeing how the injuries progress on both sides and tightness. I don't know if you want to call that an injury, but tightness for Harburg, how that progresses, how Sims progresses, how the practices go every week, because practice does matter. Again, sorry, Mr. Iverson, who, by the way, was a phenomenal, if nobody knows this, he was a phenomenal high school quarterback in Virginia. Okay, I think he was even higher recruited as a quarterback than he was a basketball player. Turned out pretty well for him. But I think what he's really doing, he's protecting Jeff Sims. And I don't mean protecting as in the guy isn't tough and he can't handle criticism. I think he's come out and said if Jeff is healthy, he's our quarterback. And then Heinrich has come out and he's played better, and especially since he hasn't turned the ball over. And yes, he has not started against a Power 5 team yet. Okay, he did lead the Huskers down the field on a touchdown drive versus Colorado. All right. I want to so badly make a joke that their defense isn't Power 5, but when you lose, what was it, 36-14, I'm going to leave that one on the table. So I think that's what he's doing. Just my thoughts. All right. A little bit more. All right. From the presser. Luke Reimer is questionable. I mean, that's a guy you want to have on the field. That's a guy that's a key cog in that defense. Hopefully he can get healthy. Hopefully he can get back. You need stout, physical linebackers against this physical Michigan offense. Okay. So I'm hoping he comes back healthy. Talked about ranking high in rush defense. Number 1 rush defense in the country, ranking number 6 in the country in rush offense is a step in the right direction. Nebraska wants to be more physical. Now, it's clear that Trev Alberts hired Matt Rule, not only because Matt Rule's a good football coach. There's plenty of good football coaches available. Trev Alberts was looking for traits in his coach. He was looking for someone who would grind. He flat out said that. He was looking for someone who understood what Nebraska football was about, whether they had a connection or not. And when you look at Matt Rule's pedigree and what he's built over the years, he does it through developing players. What is Nebraska known for? He does it through playing physical football on offense. What is Matt Rule known for? He does it through the way he's done it is the way Nebraska fans a lot of times want to see it. Okay. It's a slower progress. All right. And all of us, shocker, ladies and gentlemen, Deion Sanders didn't sprinkle some pixie dust and all of a sudden fix the Colorado football program. It's a process out in Colorado too. Okay. And they got lucky to beat a CSU team. All right. Who's a decent, group of 5 team, but nonetheless group of 5, but I digress. So my point is simply this. It's a step in the right direction when it comes to being more physical, which is what Nebraska football, Trev Alberts and the fans want it to be about, along with, winning games. All right. Bryce Benhart, he says he's played well so far this year, but will be challenged this week. When you last year was the tackles aren't playing well. The tackles aren't playing well. And there's things Benhart can do better, but he has made more incremental progress in his game this year than our left tackle has. And Prohaska's name was brought up in this presser. He says he has his role, okay, and he's getting worked in. I want to see him get worked in more. I just do. But there's a reason he's not. Hopefully that reason dissipates and we can see him on the field more and more. Now, when asked about Harburg in the option game, okay, said he's done a good job running the option game, communicating in the huddle, but still has some issues that need to be fixed. So a lot of people think the option is so simple. It's actually one of the most complex things, from how you can block it and who you're reading and who you're doing the dive read with, whether it's the fullback, whether it's the running back out of spread, whether it's you can put a wide receiver in motion as the pitch man. It can be a running back out of the backfield. You can do speed option, triple option, you can do veer option, you can do read option. You can do all sorts of different things. And they haven't done all those. I'm not saying they have. What I'm saying is there's a little bit more to the option game that people realize. So Harburg's doing a good job, is what Rule said, but it's got to continue to get better and better. All right, this one seems kind of obvious, but he says, and I quote, "We're going to play the guy that gives us the best chance to win," end quote, regarding the quarterback position. I think, a lot of people felt like Frost stayed with Adrian Martinez a little too much out of loyalty. Okay, and that's a whole nother topic for a whole nother show. And, you could equate it back to when Frost played and he received all the criticism and things of that nature. And so now that Adrian was getting some during his time. By the way, shout out to Adrian for being at the game on Saturday. He's got his business internship. Congratulations to everybody who was inducted into the Nebraska Football Hall of Fame. And there's 2 guys that pop into my mind. I know there were several more, from Adrian Martinez to Troy Dumas. I happen to know Troy. I know his 2 kids, Derek and Donovan. Talk about some big kids. And one of them's the running back, and he's a big kid. Looks like a lineman at running back, but with speed. It's crazy. So keep your eye out for Donovan Dumas here in the near future, recruiting-wise. He's an 8th grader, ladies and gentlemen. But congratulations to all those guys. You know, it's interesting. Matt Rule said Michigan has a great passing game with J.J. McCarthy, can run well. All right, everyone knows that they want to run first. You know, Blake Corum has elite burst, lateral quickness. Donovan Edwards. When Corum went down last year, they didn't miss a beat. They got two of the best running backs in the entire country. Okay. When it comes to J.J. McCarthy, you know, I believe he was a 5-star coming out of high school. When he had to make plays against Ohio State, he did. He hadn't wowed Michigan fans up until that Ohio State game, and then he played well. And then against TCU, they kind of had a little bit of a challenge running the ball, and he had to air it out, and he played well. I know they lost, but it wasn't really on his shoulders specifically in that game. Okay. So this year so far, they haven't had tough competition. They haven't had to do much, talking about the Wolverines. They haven't had to ask J.J. McCarthy to do much so far this year. So when I read some of these stats, and they're not insanely impressive, you know, I'm curious to see what happens as they start to play better and better teams and better defenses, and the Black Shirts is a rock-solid defense. But J.J., you know, he's only thrown the ball 89 times this year. It's not a ton through 4 games. 71 completions. That's basically an 80% completion percentage, 79.8. So my school taught me to round up on that, so that's an 80% completion percentage. That's pretty good. But he hasn't had to do anything dynamic just yet, okay? 915 yards passing on the season, averaging 10.3 yards per pass, okay? And 8 touchdowns, 3 INTs. His longest pass of the year is 50 yards. He's been sacked 3 times, has a rating of 189.1. He's played very well this year. I want to see what the incredibly talented young man can do as these defenses get tougher and tougher throughout the season. And kind of going back to the linebackers with Reimer just a little bit banged up, they're playing a lot of guys at linebacker on defense, okay? And it keeps you fresh. It gets guys experience if someone does go down. So hopefully Reimer can play. If he can't, there should be other guys who've gotten reps. And this last part, I love this. And I'm going to go on a little bit of a rant. Not a rant. I'm just going to express my opinion a little bit here, you know, because I don't do that all the time. But Rule said, and I quote, toughness is a skill, end quote. Yes, it is. Competing is a skill. Okay. So people, a lot of times, I'm fortunate enough that people will ask me, hey, Adam, what's the biggest thing I can do to get better? How do I get, you know, how do I do this? How do I do that? So many people, and I chat a little bit about this on Friday, but so many people train from the neck down for obvious reasons, whether it's football, basketball, baseball, lacrosse, whatever the case may be. If you're playing a musical instrument, obviously you've got to be able to handle the things physically, and you got to have the skills, and you got to develop those things. But so often, competing, toughness, the 6 inches between the ears from the neck up gets ignored, gets overlooked. Okay. The ability to go for 4 full quarters isn't something that most people are born with. It isn't something that most people really want to do. They talk about it. But then when it comes right down to doing it, it's a lot harder said than done. Developing toughness, it's in those 6 a.m. workouts. It's getting up at 4:30 in the morning. It's, well, they don't do 2-a-days anymore, but it's going through those grueling dog days at camp, going through those grueling sessions of winter conditioning, summer conditioning. It's getting a hit in the mouth 99 times and putting your hand in the dirt 100, or 999 times, depending on how long you've played, and putting your hand in the dirt 1,000. It's the ability to have blood streaming down your face and smile. It's the ability to embrace whatever comes your way, whether good, bad, or indifferent. The ability to compete is a skill. It is learned. It is taught. It is developed. The ability, okay, to be tough is a skill. It is learned. It is taught. It is developed. It is not something that can be handed to you on a silver platter. It is not something, very few people that I can think of that I've ever met are born. There's a couple that pop out to me, but most people aren't just born with insane toughness. I'll never forget, a guy told me a story, and it was a true story. And then we'll go to break after this. Okay. Regardless of whatever your religious views are, this is what the story was. And it was a true story because it was a guy I went to high school with, and I hadn't seen him in years. And he was completely different. About 10 years ago. So about 10 years, I'm about 20 years out of high school, give or take. Okay. And I hadn't seen him in 10 years, and this took place about 10 years ago, and we've kept in touch since. he was completely different than he was in high school. I'm like, dude, most people change, but you've changed about 30 years worth in 10 years. And as I got to know him, things just seemed to roll right off his back. Nothing seemed to bother him. He seemed unfazable and unflappable. So I asked him, I said, dude, no offense, but you were kind of a wuss in high school. Okay, and I'd like to think I've grown since I was in high school, so I don't mean that disrespectfully, but you have turned into one tough SOB. What happened? He goes, I prayed that God would make me tougher. And I said, okay. And he goes, my wife divorced me. I got fired from my job, and I became homeless for half a decade. So, and then, like, to him, he was going through hell in his life. Okay, things just kept getting worse. He had several hospital visits, health issues. And he was, again, regardless of your religious views, this is what he told me. He goes, I was praying to God, and he, in his mind, God was like, hey, you asked me to help make you tougher. Did you think I was just going to hand you strength or give you an opportunity to become stronger? And that was the moment when it kind of clicked for him. And he made some calls, and he made some amends, and he started to change things in his life. And when I tell you he's one of the toughest guys I've ever met mentally in my life, like, I'm taking notes when I'm around this dude. And I will never forget what he said. Did you think I was just going to make you tougher, or I was going to give you opportunities to become stronger? And those words stuck with me. And it's the same thing whether you're a football player trying to become stronger in the weight room. You don't just walk around and drink protein shakes all day. That's how you become fat. You got to actually go in. You got to do the squats. You got to shed the blood, sweat, and tears. You got to break the muscles down. You got to be torn down so then they can build back up stronger. Okay, I warned you. I said it might be a little bit of a rant, but this guy had a major impact on me. Hopefully that story makes some sense for some other folks. As soon as we come back right after the break, we're going to go to the people's segment. Again, send me your questions. Okay, comments, concerns, call or text 402-464-5685.
For many Nebraskans, fall means cooler weather and longer days that include running kids around, cheering for your favorite teams, and long days at work. The hours on your feet can really add up and give unnecessary pain and discomfort. At Fleet Feet Lincoln, they help find the shoes and inserts you need with their Fit ID machine, which takes a 3D image of your feet. If you're having trouble finding the right fit, visit Fleet Feet Lincoln at 77th and Pioneers.
Rico here with HIS Auto Care at 70th and Van Dorn, letting you know HIS is a great place to bring your vehicle for service. With superior service bumper to bumper, we'll treat your vehicle like it's your mother's. It doesn't get any better than that. So call 402-488-8934 and HIS Auto will make you glad you did. 5% off, mention this ad, and for sure your mother will be proud you called. 402-488-8934, HIS Auto Care, 70th and Van Dorn. God bless you.
It's game on at Elway Power Sports of Lincoln, and they've scouted out the best Kawasaki side-by-side deals for you. Score up to $2,500 off the 2023 Kawasaki Teryx and up to $1,000 off Mule Pro FX and FXCs. Whether you want to handle the toughest task in a trusted, tried and true mule, or looking to dominate adventure in a Teryx, Elway Power Sports of Lincoln has you covered with a large selection of Kawasaki side-by-sides in stock at their new 27th and I-80 location. Hurry in, the clock is running down. Offer valid from 9/30/2023. Subject to change without notice. Offer available on approved purchases of select new unregistered Kawasaki vehicles. Model and year exclusions apply. Cannot be combined with promotional retail financing rates.
93.7 The Ticket. Fox KFXL weather. Sponsored by John Henry's Plumbing, Heating, and Air Conditioning.
Your Lincoln forecast for today, starting the work week off with mostly sunny skies, or an afternoon high around 81. Tonight we'll see mostly clear skies and a low around 55. And tomorrow more of the same, more sunshine. Temps a little cooler tomorrow. We'll see high around 78. Meteorologist Kyle Pucker from 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Hey, it's Sean Callahan, and football season is here, and there is one place that has all the games, plus great food and beer specials. Tanner's Bar and Grill at 30th and Yankee Hill. Whether it's Thursday night football, college football Saturdays, NFL Sundays, or Monday night football, there's a great view of the game from any seat with different food and drink specials every night. Try the Blue Ribbon Reuben Sandwich or the Prime Rib French Dip or any of their famous chicken lips. That's Tanner's Bar and Grill at 30th and Yankee Hill.
Is your backyard ready for fun with friends and family this fall? GE Landscape Supply has pavers and boulders, which are a great accent for any backyard landscaping project, and you can find them at 6701 Cornhusker Highway. GE Landscape Supply sells to homeowners and contractors with a vast selection of landscaping and construction materials. And don't forget, they deliver anywhere, nearby or far away. Stop by 6701 Cornhusker Highway from 7 a.m. to 6 p.m. Monday to Friday and 7 a.m. to 4 p.m. on Saturdays. Go to gelandscapesupply.com for more info or call 402-467-1627.
What would you tell a friend who was on the fence about going to Limitless Mail?
I would tell them to go to Limitless today. Don't hesitate. You're going to second guess yourself on if it's the right decision. The staff there is amazing. The treatments work. I'm living proof that it can completely change your life for the better.
Join thousands of men who have changed their lives with testosterone treatment. Slow down the aging process and live life. Schedule your free consult at limitlessmail.com.
The best way to learn about Southeast Community College is to visit. SCC's Career Days will provide you with a hands-on experience as you learn alongside SCC faculty and students and industry partners. Explore careers in healthcare, construction, ag, automotive, manufacturing, engineering, power sports, transportation, or technology. See your options at southeast.edu/visit SCC. SCC, your path to possible.
The days of internet contracts and heavy fine print are over. It's time to experience hassle-free service with no contracts or hidden fees. That's the Allo promise. Allo Communications provides fiber internet, TV, and phone services with fair and no-nonsense pricing. All backed by a 30-day money-back guarantee, 24/7 local support 365 days a year, and a monthly bill you can count on. Don't settle for gimmicks. Settle for hassle-free with Allo. Visit us at allofiber.com/hassle-free.
If you or someone you know is having thoughts of suicide or experiencing a mental health or substance use crisis, call 988 for free, confidential, and compassionate support. On July 16th, the National Suicide Prevention Lifeline is transitioning to 988. There is hope. For 24/7 support, call, text, or chat 988.
Sponsored by Nebraska DHHS, aired with the Nebraska Broadcasters Association and this station.
This is Bud Seinhorst, President and CEO of LIBA, the Lincoln Independent Business Association. Join us every Saturday from 9 to 10 a.m. on 93.7 The Ticket for the LIBA Business Hour, as we discuss local business and highlight those who are thriving in the Lincoln area. It's the LIBA Business Hour, Saturdays from 9 to 10 a.m. on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Rosie's Sports Bar and Grill, open for lunch and dinner at 10th and P or at 1501 Center Park Road. Brown Shoe Fit has all types of shoes for you to excel this fall. Check out their large variety of tennis shoes and dress shoes in brands like Brooks, Hoka, Merrell, On, and many more. Browns has the local professionals to get the proper fit, aided by their high-tech foot scanner by Atrex. Stop by Brown Shoe Fit today, just south of 66th and Q in Lincoln, or check out their options online at brownshoefitco.com.
You're listening to Adam Carriker on The Ticket on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to Adam Carriker on The Ticket. It is time for the People's segment. We got questions rolling in real quick before we dive right into those and light that candle. Remember to go to gelandscapesupply.com or call 402-467-1627. And this is not an exaggeration at all. It's 100% true, not fictional. All your hopes and dreams will come true at carrikerchronicles.com as well. All right. So I know we didn't get into Michigan as much as I had hoped. Hopefully that diatribe I went on right before the commercial break was worth it. But don't worry. We've got all week plus Friday when I'll be right here live again, noon to 1 p.m. Central Time. Like I say, every Monday and Friday, grab your lunch. Join me. Talk a little Husker football. Also, Tuesdays and Thursdays, the Big Ten Show and Carriker Chronicles will be airing on The Ticket. And Mondays, Steve Taylor's show, I believe, is from noon to 1 p.m. Check out the former All-American quarterback. Noon to 1 p.m. Central Time is loaded throughout the week here on The Ticket. All right, let's get to questions. Notorious BIB says, how bad does the transfer of Ernest Hausman to Michigan look to you? Was it bad coaching by us, or did Harbaugh just steal him away? The guy is a beast. All right. He was a young linebacker that transferred to Michigan last year. The dude was a beast for us. Okay, is a beast, going to be a beast, probably a first-round pick one day. it's just the way college football is. You can say, obviously Frost and his staff were fired, so the coaching wasn't what we were looking for. So that's the first part of that. They answered the first part of that question. As far as Harbaugh stealing him away, is it even considered stealing anymore? There was a point in time when this would have been abominable, but it's just college football. It is what it is. It starts at youth sports. It goes all the way up through high school and into college football now. So it kind of is what it is. Michigan got him. He's a great player. Wish him the best. Hopefully he is healthy, but plays horrible Saturday, then great the rest of the year. All right. Next up, AA Ron says, Adam, do you feel like it helped AG get some rhythm by not having to come out after every run like he did with Gabe and Ramir? Talking about Anthony Grant, AG getting some rhythm. So it's interesting. I interviewed Amon Green before the season. Okay, I did my 8-part interview series on the Carriker Chronicles. You can go check that out on the YouTube channel, the website, the like. But I asked him on that question. I said, would you prefer to get the workload, 95% of the carries as a running back? Is it nice to be able to rotate so you're fresh, you don't ever have to worry about being worn out? And his answer was kind of two-part. It was first as a young back, because if you remember, 95, he came in and played a lot as a true freshman, okay? And then obviously 96, 97, he was a big-time player for us. As a young guy, he kind of said it was nice to kind of share the load a little bit. But as you get older, you want the rock, and you want to be the guy carrying the ball. Because the other part of that question I asked him was, is it hard to get warmed up and into the flow of the game if you're constantly rotating in and out? He said it can be. He said the younger you are, the harder it is to get into the flow of the game because you're just trying to figure out college football. And the older you are, the more comfortable you are, the quicker you feel like you can get into the game. So I think it's nice to be able to rotate when they're younger, but you got to be able to get them, as my coaches used to say, lathered up, okay, and into the flow of the game. And then, an older individual, and college guys, these guys aren't old, but, guys who are juniors, seniors, upperclassmen, so to speak. Okay, it's easier for them to get into the rhythm of the game, but they also want the ball. They've been around, they earn their stripes, they want the rock. Anybody who's worth their salt, especially with the game on the line, wants the rock in their hands. All right. John in Cortland says, AC, when Michigan, and I do mean when they shut down the quarterback from running 100-plus yards, what will the offense turn to? Going to have to throw the ball to keep them honest. All right, so I'm actually going to grab the stats from last game because we leaned heavily on Heinrich Haarberg. So give me a second while I grab those because I'd actually set them on the floor. All right, so you look at Haarberg, obviously, he's going to be the key cog throwing the ball, being the quarterback. All right, he had 17 passing attempts. All right, he also had 19 carries. Now, Anthony Grant led everybody with 22 carries. Okay. Heinrich actually led everybody in rushing yards and average per carry, and a lot of that's that 72-yard touchdown run that he had. Okay, but he had 157 yards on 19 carries and averaged 8.3 yards per rush. Anthony Grant, 22 carries, 135 yards, and 6.1 yards per rush, and also had a touchdown as well. So Anthony had a good day. So did Heinrich. A lot of our offense, and I'd have to go back and double check, but I think Heinrich led us in rushing against Northern Illinois as well. I'm pretty sure that's right. It could be wrong. Rico, feel free to let me know if I'm wrong, as you always do. But we're going to have to find ways to keep the defense on their toes. And this is what I mentioned earlier in the show. So since I mentioned it earlier, I'm going to go quickly, but I will go through it again. I do like running the option out of different looks. You don't want to do so many that you can't get any good at them, especially with a young quarterback. But just giving the defense different looks obviously creates more challenges for them. Okay. But beyond just more option, more looks, the other things you can do are, well, the first thing I would do is I would throw the ball downfield a couple times early just to let them know you're willing to try. If they know you're not even willing to try, that gives the defense such a huge edge. If they know you're willing to try, even if you haven't been great at it so far this year, they've at least got to respect that just a smidgen. So I would take a couple of shots early. I would not go over the middle. Okay. Avoid big hits. Also, that's where most of the interceptions happen. Deep middle passes. I would keep it to the sideline, outside shoulder of the receiver. So either you catch it, it goes out of bounds, or maybe there's a PI. Okay. And just send that message. The other thing is screens. Okay. we run the ball really well, but some teams that don't run the ball well are because they pass it all the time, or because they don't have to run it because their screen game becomes their run game. Well, here's what I'm saying. Let's use the screen game to keep defenses balanced so they can't just run blitz us all the time. And I've already described what a run blitz is versus a pass blitz earlier in this show. And the third thing is some of the fake options that Nebraska used to run. And all of a sudden you got the tight end hitting the seam on the deep ball. So I think those are a couple of the things that we can do early just to send messages like, hey, we're willing to try this. Okay. Or if you want to come out and do what we do like normal and then throw them in later in the game to catch them off balance to maybe get a surprise touchdown, that works too. Just at some point, screens, a deep ball or two, and a fake option with a couple of tight end seams. I think that's how we can keep them balanced. All right. Tune in on Friday, ladies and gentlemen. That outro music is Rico telling me I'm done and I need to be quiet. I can take a hint, but all right, Friday, we will dive a lot more into good old Michigan. All right, so tune into this show on Friday, also throughout the week here on The Ticket from noon to 1 p.m. Central Time. Until then, go Big Red, and always remember to throw the ball.
This is Lincoln's home for sports talk on the FM dial. The home of Kansas City Royals baseball. KNTK FM Firth, 93.7 The Ticket.
This is Jay Foreman here. Join me and DP for Old School live from Cornhusker Bank at 83rd and O Street this Friday for their customer appreciation tailgate party from 4 to 6 p.m. Larry the Cable Guy will join us during the show, and there's free food and refreshments. That's this Friday from 4 to 6 at Cornhusker Bank, 83rd and O Street.
Okay, it's time to sell the house. How do we even begin to choose from the hundreds of realtors in town?
Easy. We make a pros list.
You mean a pros and cons list?
No, just a pros list. We need someone with pro photography to showcase the house in the best possible way, pro marketing to make sure we get maximum exposure, pro negotiations so we know we get the best price.
This is one of those times where you already know the right answer, isn't it?
You know it is. Ben Bleicher and Professional Realty Group.
Contact Ben Bleicher and the team at Professional Realty Group of Berkshire Hathaway's Home Services Ambassador. Online at prg-ne.com.
Working at Continental in Lincoln isn't a job, it's a career. And right now, they've raised wages again, and they're hiring for production operators at $24.62 per hour, which grows to $28.97 per hour within 3 years. Skilled trade positions now start at $33.36 per hour, with opportunities to make more based on certifications. Continental also has salary jobs available and great benefits, plus medical and prescription costs at very low premiums. Dental, vision, and life insurance are offered at no premium cost to the associates, with increased bonuses and vacation for new hires. To learn more or apply, go to continentaljobs.com with keyword Lincoln. Come work at Continental today.
Gray Diesel and Equipment Services is hiring and seeking motivated applicants. Gray offers a second-to-none benefit package that includes health, dental, vision, 401k, paid vacation, and paid holidays. They offer great pay and tuition reimbursement or a tool purchase program for qualified candidates. It's a fun, friendly team with lots of variety and work assignments, so there's something for everybody. You can apply for their job openings today at grayusa.com or visit them in person just off I-80 and North 56th Street. Come be a part of the Gray difference. Is your backyard ready for fun with friends and family this fall? GE Landscape Supply has pavers and boulders, which are a great accent for any backyard landscaping project, and you can find them at 6701 Cornhusker Highway. GE Landscape Supply sells to homeowners and contractors with a vast selection of landscaping and construction materials. And don't forget, they deliver anywhere, nearby or far away. Stop by 6701 Cornhusker Highway from 7 a.m. to 6 p.m. Monday to Friday, and 7 a.m. to 4 p.m. on Saturdays. Go to GELandscapesupply.com for more info or call 402-467-1627.
Ironhide Construction is hiring. They're looking for hardworking, self-motivated individuals who are team players. Ironhide Construction has openings for an experienced project manager, estimator, apprentice, skilled laborer, and erector or installer. They will train the right people and make sure you understand the position and requirements. At Ironhide Construction, it's own it, be honest, and do it right. Apply today and learn more about their other benefits at ironhideconstruction.com.
where they're committed to you every step of the way.
If you have concerns about your drinking water, just call Bryant. If your water doesn't look right, smell right, or taste right, Bryant can help. If your water has high levels of iron, Bryant can help. If you're tired of